The first time Elias Mercer saw the alien girl, she was shaking. Not from fear. From rage. She stood at the center of Dock Ring C on Helier Station, surrounded by a half-circle of armed security drones and wary customs officers. Her fists were clenched so tightly that the dark, iridescent skin of her hands had gone pale at the knuckles. Thin bioluminescent lines pulsed along her forearms and neck, glowing brighter with every shallow breath she took. The air around her crackled faintly, like the build-up before a lightning strike. Elias paused at the edge of the crowd, the crate of replacement processors heavy in his arms. He was just a maintenance contractor, one of thousands of humans who kept Helier Station running while the galaxy's elite passed through its halls. This wasn't his problem. It shouldn't have been. But something about the way she stood there, spine straight, chin lifted in defiance despite the weapons trained on her, made him stop. Easy. One of the officers barked in galactic standard. Power readings are spiking again. She's a Varelian, another muttered. They're volatile. One wrong move, and... I will not be caged, the girl snapped, her voice sharp and musical, laced with an accent Elias couldn't place. Release me. Now. Her eyes, silver, almost mirror-bright, flicked across the crowd. For just a moment, they landed on Elias. He didn't know why, but he didn't look away. The officer in charge raised a hand. By authority of the Interstellar Transit Accord, you are being detained for inspection. Lower your energy output, or we will neutralize you. The glow along her skin flared violently. Elias felt it then, a pressure in his chest, like standing too close to a storm front. People around him backed away. Someone cursed. A drone's weapons powered up with a rising whine. The girl trembled harder, fury and humiliation warring across her sharp features. You slaughtered my escort, she hissed. You tore my ship apart. And now you dare. A drone fired. It wasn't lethal, just a suppression pulse, but the impact knocked her to her knees. The glow dimmed, flickered, then surged again, wild and unstable. Stop. Elias shouted before he realized he was speaking. Every head turned toward him. The officer scowled. This area is restricted, civilian. She's going to overload, Elias said, stepping forward despite his own pounding heart. Your pulse destabilized her biofield. You hit her again, and she'll detonate. You know that. There was a tense pause. The officer hesitated. The girl looked up at Elias, shock cutting through her rage. No one had defended her. Not since. Sir. One of the technicians whispered urgently. He's right. Readings are off the scale. Elias set his crate down slowly and raised his empty hands. Let me talk to her. The officer laughed harshly. You? She's not human. I know, Elias said. I'm still going to talk. Against protocol, against better judgment, the officer nodded. 1 minute. Elias approached her carefully, stopping a few steps away. Up close, he could see how young she was. Not a child, but not fully grown by human standards either. Her breathing was uneven. Rage still burned in her eyes, but beneath it was pain, raw and deep. My name's Elias, he said softly. I'm not here to hurt you. She scoffed weakly. All of you hurt us. I won't, he said. I promise. The word promise seemed to confuse her. The glow along her arms pulsed uncertainly. What is your name? Elias asked. For a long moment, she didn't answer. Then, quietly, Saley. It's nice to meet you, Saley, he said, as if this were a normal introduction and not a standoff moments from catastrophe. You're safe right now. I am not, she snapped. They will dissect me, study me, chain me. Elias shook his head. Not if I can help it. He turned to the officer. She needs medical stabilization, not a holding cell. Let me take her to Medbay Theta. I work maintenance there. The staff trusts me. The officer stared at him like he'd lost his mind. If she escapes. She won't, Elias said, surprising himself with the certainty in his voice. Will you? He asked Sally. Her gaze flicked between him and the weapons trained on her. Slowly, reluctantly, she shook her head. I am so tired, she whispered. The officer swore under his breath, then made a sharp gesture. The drones powered down.
Fine, he said.
But one wrong move. I know, Elias said. As he helped Sally to her feet, he felt the trembling in her body. Not just anger now, but exhaustion, grief, and fear all tangled together. She leaned into him without realizing it, her weight light but unsteady. For the first time since she'd been captured, the glow along her skin dimmed to a soft, steady pulse. Medbay Theta was quiet at that hour, its white lights dimmed to simulate a gentle dusk. Elias guided Sally onto an examination couch while the automated scanners hummed to life. She watched him closely, suspicion etched into every line of her face. Why? She asked suddenly. Why what? Why help me? Her voice sharpened again, defensive. Humans are not known for mercy. Elias winced. We're known for a lot of things, he admitted. Some of them fair. But not all of us are the same. She snorted softly. That is what conquerors always say. I'm not a conqueror, Elias said. I fix broken systems for a living. Sally studied his hands, calloused, oil-stained. You are low status, she said, not unkindly. Very, Elias agreed with a faint smile. The scanner chimed. Biofield instability detected. Subject requires emotional regulation to prevent energy discharge. Sally stiffened. You will sedate me. No, Elias said firmly. We won't. He pulled up a chair and sat in front of her, meeting her eyes. Talk to me. Her lips pressed into a thin line. About what? About why you're so angry. For a long time she said nothing. Then all at once, the words spilled out. My people were attacked, she said, voice trembling. Our colony burned. My mother was killed defending the young. I was sent away with an escort to seek asylum. And they died. All of them. Because your patrol thought we were smugglers. Elias felt a knot form in his chest. I'm sorry, he said quietly. The glow along her skin flickered brighter as tears welled in her eyes. Sorry does not bring them back. No, Elias agreed. But you don't have to carry this alone. She laughed bitterly. You barely know me. I know enough, he said. You're hurting. Something in his tone, simple, unguarded, cracked the last of her composure. Sally's shoulders shook as she bowed her head, the bioluminescence fading almost entirely. The scanner chimed again. Biofield stabilizing. Elias exhaled slowly. Over the next few days, Sally remained in Medbay Theta under Elias's supervision. Officially, she was still detained. Unofficially, no one wanted to be responsible for provoking another incident. Elias brought her meals, translated station protocols, and listened. He learned that Varelians were empathic energy beings, their powers tied directly to emotional states. Rage made them destructive. Grief made them unstable. Kindness, rare as it was in her experience, made them calm. Sally learned that Elias had lost his sister years ago in a mining accident caused by corporate negligence. That he'd stayed on Helier Station because moving on felt like another kind of loss. You should hate them, she said one evening as they sat by the viewport, watching ships drift past like slow-moving stars. Those who allowed it. I did, Elias said. For a long time. What changed? I met people who were kind when they didn't have to be, he said. It reminded me that anger isn't the only way to survive. She considered that. On my world, kindness is seen as weakness. On mine, Elias said, it's seen as a risk. Saley smiled faintly. The day of her tribunal arrived sooner than either of them wanted. Representatives from the station authority, the patrol fleet, and the Varelian diaspora gathered in a sterile chamber. Saley stood alone at the center. Elias wasn't supposed to be there. He stood anyway. The accusations were read. Illegal energy discharge. Threat to station security. Potential weaponization. Saley's hands began to tremble. Elias stepped forward. She's a refugee, he said loudly. And you pushed her to the brink. Any damage was provoked. The chamber erupted in murmurs. She has shown restraint, Elias continued. And more than that, she has shown trust. In us. Saley turned to look at him, eyes wide. She deserves asylum, Elias finished. Not a prison cell. The silence that followed was heavy. Finally, the Varelian representative spoke. We will take responsibility for her. Under our protection. The verdict was swift after that. As the chamber emptied, Saley approached Elias, her glow soft and steady. You spoke for me, she said. I meant it, he replied. She hesitated, then reached out, touching his arm lightly. Warmth spread through him, gentle and comforting. My rage no longer controls me, she said, because you showed me another way. Elias swallowed. What will you do now? I will help rebuild what was lost, Saley said. And one day, I will return the kindness you gave me. She paused. If you ever need a place among the Varelians, you will have one. They stood there for a moment longer. Two beings from different worlds, connected by a simple act of compassion. As Saley turned to leave, Elias felt something shift inside him. Not an ending, but a beginning. On Helier Station, amid metal and stars, kindness had changed the course of a life. And perhaps, in time, the course of a galaxy. Months later, Helier Station felt different to Elias. Not quieter, stations like Helia never truly rested, but lighter, as if some invisible tension had eased. He noticed it in small things. Security protocols adjusted to include empathic species liaisons, refugee corridors repurposed into living quarters, and, most surprising of all, kindness no longer treated as a liability. Elias still worked maintenance. Still crawled through access shafts and repaired systems no one noticed unless they failed. But now, when he passed the Eastern Observation Ring, he sometimes saw a familiar shimmer of soft bioluminescent light reflected in the glass. Saley returned exactly when she said she would. The Varelian envoy ship arrived without fanfare, docking quietly under diplomatic clearance. Elias wasn't told officially. He just felt it, the way the station's ambient energy subtly shifted, calmer and warmer all at once. She found him in maintenance Bay 7, sitting on an overturned crate, hands deep inside a broken grav coupler. You still fix what others break, she said gently. Elias looked up, stunned, and smiled. Saley stood taller now, her movement steady, her glow controlled and luminous rather than volatile. She wore the markings of her people's Restoration Council, symbols of leadership etched in living light across her shoulders. You rebuilt, Elias said. We did, she corrected. But I remembered who helped me survive long enough to try. They walked together through the station, past the place where she had once trembled with rage and fear. Saley paused there, closing her eyes. No glow surged, no anger rose, only resolve. Kindness, she said, is not weakness. It is restraint. It is strength chosen deliberately. Elias nodded, glad someone finally said it out loud. Before she left again, this time by choice. Sally pressed her forehead gently against his. The contact sent a calm warmth through him, steady and grounding. "You changed the path I was on," she said. "I will spend my life making sure that path remains open for others. And if you ever need a mechanic," Elias said lightly, "I know my way around impossible systems." She smiled, fully, brightly. "Then we are not saying goodbye." As her ship departed, Elias watched until it vanished into the starfield. He didn't feel lost this time. Only hope. On a station built of steel and silence, one act of kindness had rewritten a future. And somewhere beyond the stars, an alien girl who once trembled with rage carried that kindness forward, proof that compassion, once given, could echo across the galaxy and change everything.